Welcome to video number 2 in the series of 7 videos for the readyRANDOM tool. In this video we're going to be covering how to utilize the features of the active chatter random. We're going to go over the features, go over each of the tabs, or rather go over each of the buttons and input areas and explain what they mean and how to utilize them. So let's start with the first one. The most obvious is the number of winners. In the number of winners, we're going to put in just like it sounds, the number of winners that we want to be selected for this particular drawing. The minutes is the length in time in which a participant in the chat has last chatted. So for example, in our list here we can see a total of 55 people are in the current drawing. That means that 55 unique individuals have chatted in this particular channel that we're monitoring right now, which is VU Live, since we've opened the tool. But you can see in looking through the list that some of those people haven't chatted in quite some time. Some people have chatted within the last 5 minutes. Here's a person that chatted within the last 11 minutes. If you look down the list, there's some people that chatted within the last 2 minutes or 4 minutes. So what this particular feature does, the number of minutes, is it restricts the number of people that are going to be included in this particular drawing based on the last time that they were active in chat. So for example, if we only wanted to include people that have been chatting within the last 5 minutes, we would put a 5 in this field here. You'll notice that right now there are currently 55 people in the drawing, but if we restrict it to only include people that have chatted within the last 5 minutes, we put a 5 here, and you'll notice that the number of people that are in the drawing automatically went down to 21 people because there are only currently 21 people that have chatted in this particular room that we're monitoring within the last 5 minutes. If any of those other if any of the people from the other side of that 55 that have chatted longer than 5 minutes ago were to type something in here, they would be automatically included in this because we've limited it to 5 minutes. Likely, so if we changed it to 2 minutes, for example, we can see that only 14 people in this particular channel that we're monitoring have chatted within the last 2 minutes. If we don't want to put a restriction on in terms of the time frame of who to include or exclude from the drawing, we can just delete what's in this field and it will include everybody who has chatted in this particular channel since we've opened the tool. This gives you a lot of functionality and control over who you include in your drawing based on their activity in chat. So again, we can restrict it down to the last activity within the last X number of minutes, whatever you want that to be, or you can leave it wide open to anybody that has chatted in the channel since you've launched the application. The pause and reset buttons are fairly self-explanatory. What the pause button does is you'll notice that every time somebody chats in the room, the active chatter list gets updated. So what that does is it kind of makes it a pain if you want to scroll through the list to see who's in the going to be included in the drawing. So what the pause does is it allows you to pause the program so that it's not listening to chat anymore, so that you can go through this list and you can scroll from top to bottom without the list wanting to update on you and constantly refreshing the scroll and kicking you back up to the top or kicking you down to the bottom or whatever, what have you. When you're done looking at the list, what you can do is click the start button again, and that will automatically start calculating in and listening to the chat data from that particular channel again and deciding who to include in those drawings. The reset button empties out the chatter list from the channel. So if I were to click the reset button, you'll see that now the entire chatter list is empty. As new people in the room chat, you're going to find that they will be added to the list. So as you can see there in the program, One Dope Bloke and Jay Parton just said something in the room. It automatically added them or captured their names into the available chatter list and makes it available for them to be included in this particular drawing. As more people chat in the room, they automatically get added to the list. One of the things it does keep track of is the number of posts that the person made. When we do the reset, it does not reset, as you can see, the number of posts made. It just empties out the table for the active participants in this drawing and allows it to be recreated. But it still keeps track of the number of posts since the program has been opened for that particular user. Now you'll notice that even though Vapin with Vic has had 7 posts, his name is only included in the drawing 1 time. This obviously is set in place to make sure that the drawings are fair, 1 entry per person. So if we wanted to choose 3 winners, we would just put in the number 3 up here with the number of winners, and then we would select winners. You'll notice that it automatically grabbed 3 winners out of the list, in this case D. Millen, J. Parton, and 1 Dope Bloke. So now let's go ahead and pretend we're actively in a channel and we had a giveaway to give, or rather to talk about, and let's say that D. Millen did not want to have this particular giveaway, so they wanted to piff it. We have this button down here that says remove from this drawing only. In the event of somebody wanting to piff a prize or pay it forward, which means that they're not interested in this prize, this would be the button that we would click to allow them to piff. We would not want to click move back to the viewer pool in that case, because what it will do is it just simply moves the person back to the viewer pool and allows them to be picked again. The remove from this drawing only prevents the program from allowing that particular person to be picked a second time for this particular drawing, which is why you would want to utilize it in a piff. If somebody's already paid it forward and they're not interested in this particular drawing, they wouldn't want to be drawn again and have to piff again. So in this case, if D. Millen didn't want the drawing that she had just won, we would say remove from this drawing only. And what that's going to do is prevent her from being picked again. Now we'll get into the jail a little bit later in the videos, but what removing her from this drawing only does is it adds her over to the jail tab. It adds her as a visitor. The visitor in the jail tab means that it's a list of people that cannot be selected for this particular drawing that we're on, and the inmates are a list of people that won't be selected at all during the remainder of the show. Let's say that J. Parton just didn't answer. They weren't at their keyboard, or they didn't realize they won in the given time frame that we had given them, which, by the way, readyRANDOM has a built-in timer. So let's say that we had on the timer, say 10 seconds for J. Parton to respond. We would put in a 10 and click on Start Timer. That timer is going to automatically count down in seconds until it reaches 0. Once it reaches 0, it's going to pop up a message saying that the time has run out. As it did just there, time is out. We can say OK, it'll bring us back to the list. So let's say that J. Parton didn't acknowledge their win, so we didn't want to remove them from this drawing only, because theoretically we might want to see if they get picked again by the randomizer, giving them another chance of winning if they happen to be back from wherever they were away to. So in that case, what you would want to do is, rather than removing them from this drawing only, you would want to move them back to the viewer pool. What moving them back to the viewer pool does is it removes them as a winner for this particular moment, but it still keeps them eligible to be randomly drawn again. You'll notice that since we clicked on move back to viewer pool, that particular person isn't in jail, or isn't in the visitors section of jail, which means that they can be drawn again by the randomizer for this particular drawing. So now we're down to just 1 person left out of the 3 people that we had chosen that we wanted to win. So how do we draw for the additional 2 people? Well, it's pretty straightforward. You would just do select winners again, and it's going to automatically pick 2 additional winners. Now you'll notice, coincidentally and luckily, that J. Parton, who we just removed, was actually added back to the winner list. So they were chosen a second time. You'll notice that if you look in the jail, D. Millen is in jail, so that person, D. Millen, was not selected again. You can see that we have 3 winners in here, and we can then confirm those winners if all 3 of those winners wanted their prize. So we would just click on confirm winners. That brings us over to the prize pool tab, which we'll cover in a later video entitled Prize Pool and Winners.